First of all, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you. Firstly, I would like to know about the food culture of the region from where you belong, that is Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu.
Thank you. I'm very glad that you have been trying to understand the food culture of different parts of India. I congratulate you that you have got internship in this CFTRI. It's a premier institute, and I hope you get a better exposure, a wonderful learning from that institute. I came from Tirunelveli, as you said, which is southern, one of the southernmost districts in Tamil Nadu. It's a peculiar district. It's a rather old district. It has a strange geography. On the eastern side, there is Bay of Bengal. On the western side, it is Western Ghat. And there is one river. That is the only perennial river in the whole Tamil Nadu. Even Kaveri gets dry in summer. Whereas this small river, it is only 120-kilometer river, that is the feeder of the district, which is perennial throughout the year, goes up to the ocean. And because of this geography, we have all kind of lands. In Tamil Nadu, land is divided into five habitations. This hill habitation, forest habitation, then plain, then desert, the last is coastal. We have all the five landscape habitation. And people in forest, hill, they have kind of food culture. Those who are in the plain, who are mostly cultivators and craftsmen, they have different food culture. People in desert, they have different food culture. And coastal people have different food culture. We have all these food culture. There are commonalities. Also, there are specific food practices. So, within this small district, compared to India, it is a very small area. We have wide range of habitation subcultures. But there are few commonalities which are general overview of food. That is something that I would like to share with you. Traditionally, our food is boiled food, steamed food. We don't go for fried or deep fry roasting. That is alien to that land. Of course, now all these food practices are globalized or nationalized. Every food is available everywhere. But even now, the traditional families or on special occasions, we prefer steamed food or boiled food. Even sweets are steamed sweets. That is something very peculiar about that place. Kolkata we call. It is a mix of grams with sugar. The sugar is actually palm tree sugar. There is a black palm tree, and the extract of is boiled to make jaggery. Black palm jaggery is very famous. It is very peculiar. You get it only in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra, and Karnataka, that region, particularly in Tamil Nadu. We have similar palm jaggery available in Bengal and Orissa, but they take it from uh, date, date tree, not black palm. So, black palm jaggery and grain flour mixed with a little bit of condiments. They steam it, and that becomes a delicacy. Even today, modak is steamed there, not fried. Here it is fried. No? They steam it, and it makes a great delicacy. In fact, Asia had steaming as the major way of cooking traditionally. You go into Tibet, Myanmar, Thailand, much part of China. Steaming has had been the major way of cooking, but now things are changing. We in Tamil Nadu, particularly in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, we continue to have this as a practice, though it is receding. The other thing is mud pot is considered even today as the best pot to cook. Aluminium, steel, stainless steel, all these have other benefits, utility benefits like it is long, durable, easy to wash, easy to handle. But there are difficulties with those vessels. They allow the heat to rise very fast and to a high temperature. That allows the cooking fast, but we don't require fast cooking. We need the food to uh, cook. Cooking is actually a digesting process. Hard, uh, hard carbohydrates, proteins are split into easily digestible, consumable food. That is what is happening in cooking. That is what is digestion also, and that requires low flame, a long time cooking. These vessels do not allow that because of they are good conductor. The temperature rises very fast, and water boils rather fast, and cooker again it increases the temperature. All these are not healthy. Whereas uh, mud vessel allows, it is not a good conductor. It is a slow conductor. It allows heat to rise very slowly, and it maintains the heat at certain level, and it allows the food to cook in low flame for a long time. Flame may be very high, but the temperature is always stable. So that way, these two practices are very typical in that area even now. When we come to food, there are some traditional food which are very important in terms of health. Something like yam. Yam is very popular. Of course, yam is available all over the world, but in South we have a particular small variety that yam is not available here. We call it Karunai. Karunai literally means Karuna. That yam has that kind of compassion with regard to our health. It is very good for our gastro-related problems and piles. Then there is Agatikira. Agatikira is a tree. It is a tree, Susbania. You may be knowing Susbania is actually. That leaf is regularly used, and people say that it is good for वाद बोलते हैं ना. वाद के लिए वो बहुत अच्छा है ऐसा बोलते हैं. Paralysis kind of ailment or the bone related problems. It is very good and it is regularly used. Then there are wild varieties, Karisalangani, Ponangani, Kire. These are all leafy vegetables which are not cultivated, which are on the river side, stream side, where there is good water. You find those leaves. People go and collect and use it regularly, and that gives a lot of minerals because they are wild plants. They give a lot of minerals. They are all regularly used in that region. You don't find it anywhere else. Of course, in some part of other parts of Tamil Nadu also we can find, but in this part, these are very particularly used. One more thing I would like to say: there are six kind of tastes: sweet, pungent, that is mirchi; then sour, that is imli or lemon; then salt; then bitter; then astringent. These six tastes have to be regularly be part of our food. That is a traditional belief. You eat in your food, all these six tastes should be regularly present because these six tastes represent six different nutrients that we require. Sweet is mostly carbohydrate, sugar, and it is not good to eat too much of starch. Laborers they can take, but we need protein. Then we also need minerals. Then we need vitamins. We need steroids, natural steroids, and bitter and astringent are not essentially nutrients. They are micronutrients. They are steroids. They are bitter represents mostly steroid kind of items, which play the role of medicine. Uh, if you go into traditional marriages, even now, in a very traditional marriage in Tirunelveli particularly, they make one side dish out of neem, neem tree, neem flower, and it must be there, of course, in that season. Neem flowering season is February to January, February, March. That is the season, and whatever marriage happens during that time, they keep that food item as an integral part of any dining. If you have a traditional dining, marriage occasions or any other grand occasions, you have it. Kerala retains it religiously even today. Tirunelveli, you can find it widespread. These are all actually declining, I have to confess. It is not very strictly practiced, but these are all traditional food practices. What I am saying is the six different tastes: astringent, bitter, sour, salt, pungent, and sweet. It has been ingrained in the consciousness of that place. That is another way. And banana is another very effective food culture in the south. And Tirunelveli is one major banana region where it is a household food item. Banana, even we have banana, raw banana here today. In my home also we have. But that is only one part. The banana flower, it is an inflorescence. Uh, to some extent, the flowers turn into fruit, and beyond that, they just wither away. At that part, the inflorescence was cut and brought home, and they remove the sheets, and the inner flowers are processed. There is a process for that, and they make vegetable. That is actually astringent. It doesn't have great exciting taste, but very good for micronutrients and rare minerals. Flowers are actually the best part of the tree. It has the best nutrients because it is to reproduce. In order to give rise to a new life, you have to give the best. That is understood by the tradition. So the flowers are mostly uh, delicacies all over the world because of this reason. And here, this banana flower is brought and cooked. They actually boil it and give sauté. When you give garnishing, it gives a flavor and the taste is retained, but the strong taste is removed through boil. They remove the water after boiling. That is one very peculiar practice in the south, and it is not just for medicinal purpose. This is not a declining food practice. It is very much prevalent. You go to any market, any time in the year, you will find a banana flower in the market. And then the banana trunk has a lot of sheaths. You remove the sheath, inside there is a pith. The white pith is very fibrous. Uh, I mean, that is what the trunk, the essential trunk of the plant, that is what the supply line. It is completely fibrous. It is more fibrous than flesh. But somehow people identified its medicinal value and added it into food. This is also a very much prevalent food even today. It is not declining because it has a very peculiar taste, not an exciting taste again. It is also astringent. It is not bitter. It is astringent. Uh, it is not very exciting, but you start eating, you start liking it. You get habituated. That way, uh, they have added these six tastes and ensure that food is giving us a balanced nutrition and all kind of essentials are brought into our system. That is one. Second, there is a traditional saying in that region. We have to eat whatever is available in the local. You don't bring from outside. Gandhi Swadeshi also talked about it, but that had an economic connotation. Here, food, why it is? We are uh, uh, geocentric people. Our culture, our attitude, our physiology, everything is in tune with the land to an extent. And the land and our body have a innate biological relationship. We cannot sustain our body by bringing materials that are cultivated in different land, in which different minerals, different compositions are uh, prevalent. That doesn't suit us. This is some belief that was traditionally passed on to the mind. So local food has to be the primary food. All kind of eatable vegetables should be eaten. For that, they have given an indicator. You know, goat. There are two kinds of animals: goat and sheep. Sheep is mostly grass eater. They eat grass and grass kind of things, whereas goat eats anything on earth. I mean, they also have certain exceptions where there are some poisonous plants they don't eat. So people say, you watch goat, whatever it eats, you should eat. The meaning is you get maximum minerals through that. Not every plant has every mineral. Not every plant has every vitamin. There are that is why medicinal plants are identified because they have certain minerals which are not available in other plants. So we watch the goat, and if he eats something, then we should eat. The traditional shepherds, the goatsmen, they as they go, they just pluck few leaves of the plants which the goat eat, and they also put it in their mouth. They are really very healthy. People try to bring those leaves which goats like and they eat into their food culture. And that is how we have so many leafy items, so many uh, flower items in our food culture. This is one. Then, attitudinally, there are two prescriptions that we popularly hear in the South. as well as in my district, that are the great couplet poet Thiruvalluvar. He said, மருந்தென வேண்டாமா யாக்கைக்கு அருந்தியது அற்றது அறிந்து நீ. That is a couplet. That means you first look into yourself whether you have already digested and assimilated the food you ate, and then eat. You should know that your stomach is empty and your body deserves energy supplement, replenishment. Only when you are hungry, then you eat. When you are not hungry, you don't eat. And it is a traditional knowledge everywhere. In whole India, you can hear that. It is very religiously inculcated in the minds of people right from the young age. Second, that is one. It is attitudinally I am talking. That is one. Second is traditional belief. You work hard. You work hard for your livelihood. You get hungry. When you are hungry, every food is tasty. So food is not in the food item, but it is in the mind, it is in the body. The taste is part of our physiology. If you are hungry, you feel the taste. Otherwise, you don't eat for taste. You eat for your requirement, and the food is tasty. That is always instinct. You have to work hard to deserve food. This attitude is also brought into their culture. These are few elementary things about food. My district, Tirunelveli, uh, because it has all 5 geo habitations, there is a place called Kutralam. Kutralam is nearby Tenkasi. There is a Kasi in the north. This is Dakshin Kasi. Then is southern Kasi. It's a very religious place, Shaiva Sthal, and Tenkasi and Kutralam are adjacent. Kutralam is a very ancient medicinal hub. Agastya Munivar visited that place and stayed, and he launched a long tradition of traditional medicine, which later on was named as Siddha medicine. Siddha medicine had its origin in Kutralam. I mean, you get so many rare herbs in that region, and people come to Kutralam for all kind of even neurotic problems. People come, or cognitive problems. People come. That kind of great place it is, and that also added to the food dietary and gastronomous behavior of that region. That I would like to add. That water from the river has lot of copper. That is why it is called Tambra Parani. That river is called Tambra Parani. And that water has a very peculiar taste. How peculiar, I would like to add. With that, I close this first part. Some people from the north migrated to south. Among them, there were some Rajasthani families. Rajasthani families make a lot of sweets, particularly halwa. Halwa is not a food of the south. Because we don't have wheat. Now we get from the north transported. Earlier we did not have. These people brought halwa, the idea of halwa. And all over Tamil Nadu they make halwa. But when they made it in Tirunelveli, they got a very peculiar taste. very peculiar taste. It was so delicious. They did not find that taste even in Rajasthan. I am not telling that that halwa is superior to it, but that taste they don't get even in Rajasthan. You go to Jaipur, you go to Delhi, even today, you get that halwa in the name of Tirunelveli halwa. They make in that place and they transport it, or now they have improvised it. That formula is distributed everywhere. You in the whole of Tamil Nadu, halwa is available, but in the whole of Tamil Nadu, you get it in the name of Tirunelveli halwa. It came from Rajasthan, but the Tirunelveli gave the taste, and the taste came from the water. That is a very peculiar. I mean, it is associated with our food. I want to question. And there is another. I mean, this is not strictly about the food, but associated with food. Why the name Tirunelveli came? Nil means paddy. Tirunelveli, every district headquarters has a principal deity, a goddess, god or goddess, like Madurai Meenakshi, Kanji Kamakshi, Chidambaram Nadaraja. Tirunelveli is Kandimati Ammal. Kandimati is one of the many names of Parvati. Shiva is not the principal god in the temple. He is the secondary god. Primary god is Kandimati Ammal. In Madurai also it is the same. It is Madurai Meenakshi is the principal deity. Sundareshwar, that is Shiva, sits besides. People go to Meenakshi Ammal first and then Sundareshwar, not the other way. That is a long tradition they have. That temple, there was a priest, and in those days प्रसाद देना है ना, प्रसाद देने के लिए वो एक खीर बनाते हैं. That pudding is made of rice and sugar. For that, the priest had to. That is a tradition. They take the paddy, they thrash it, remove the husk, and the rice is prepared in the morning, and in the afternoon they boil it, they make the pudding, and they give it to the devotees as prasad in the evening. So it is very fresh. They don't thrash it and keep it ready for a month like we have it at home. Every morning they have to do. For that, the person has to dry it the earlier evening. They put it for sun dry in the evening and store it in the morning, thrash it. It's a process. The priest has a team and they do it religiously. And this particular priest also was doing it. One day he put it for dry, sun dry, and went to the river, Tambraparani, to take bath because he has to get ready for evening puja and all. Rain came. So he was so disturbed. Hey, what will happen to the paddy? I have to prepare tomorrow's prasad with that. He prayed to Gandhi Madhyamma. You protect the prasad. And when he came, it is a belief, it is a legend. There was rain all over, everywhere it was wet, except on the paddy. The paddy was so dry. So God has put a fence. It's a holy fence. That is the name of Tirunelveli. The paddy got a holy fence. This is the literal translation of the name of the district Tirunelveli.
No.
This is because it is associated with the paddy, a food item, and the prasad. I thought I would share this also with you. That's it.
Sir, what are your views on healthy and proper diet?
Healthy diet is one that which comes from the local land, naturally grown. We cannot go by the taste, but by the availability and requirement in the local. That is the best food according to our traditional understanding. Wild leaves, wild stems, wild roots should be integral part of our food. Uh, as I said earlier, whatever the goat eats, we should eat because that brings the widest possible mineral supplement to our food. If he is confined to few grains, few cereals, few vegetables, then we are confining ourselves to few minerals and vitamins. Our body requires about 60 essential minerals and natural elements. 60 natural elements are there, 94. And science has identified the presence of 60 elements. That does not mean others are not present, but not yet diagnosed. They may be available in our body also. And of these, about 35 elements, the role of 35 elements are also uh, identified. All these elements are not available in few grains and pulses, vegetables and fruits. So whatever is available that can be eaten, that may be of all taste, all six tastes: sweet, bitter, pungent, salty, sour, astringent, any taste we need to include. That is the best. The second is we have to physically work hard so that our body demands food. When our body demands food, we should eat. That the body demanding comes only when we work hard physically. So land-based life is the best life. That is the conventional wisdom. Gandhi was also talking about it, and that is in practice. That is one. Second, we need to keep our mind fresh. If we are very disturbed, our we are psychosomatic people. Our mind will definitely affect our body function, and we will not be able to eat properly, and that will affect. So a healthy mind is also very important. So we need to keep, in order to have healthy mind, we need to keep life simple and straight. We shouldn't complicate it. Farming, farm based life, craft based life, or really very good life. If we want to have healthy life, not just by giving quality food or balanced food, it will be possible. We need to alter our lifestyle also. That is also we need to keep in mind.
We have come to know that you enjoy cooking. So, what is your specialty dish?
I go for simple boiled food. That is my both my taste and my passion. Very light spice and light oil, little oil. That is something that I prefer. In terms of vegetables, earlier banana trunk is a delicacy. I love it, partly because of its nostalgia, because I have been fed with this food item right from the beginning, and it is into the system. Partly because I understand its nutritional value. Banana trunk is a very rare medicinal plant also, plant pot also. In the farm, when people work, sometimes they are bitten by snake bite. It is snake bite is deadly, lethal. People can die. In our area, cobra is and prevalent everywhere. You can find cobra everywhere, of course, all over India. That being close to Western Ghat, Western Ghat is the major habitation of cobra. Our place is infested with cobra, and quite a lot of people get stung by cobra, and then viper and other uh, poisonous snakes also there. When a farmer is bitten by cobra, immediately they take this trunk, banana trunk, squeeze, and they take the extract. They give the patient one tumbler, one glass of this juice. Raw, nothing is added, only this. And they have found amazing result. It is a powerful antidote, very powerful antidote, very easily available, and they save the lives of people by using this. How did they discover? We don't know, but it is a traditionally practiced first aid. It used to be the only aid, but now, in order to be on the safer side, they take the patient to the doctor also. But more often, doctors say the person is normal. There is no poison in the person's body. The person get recovered in within an hour after giving this extract. Such powerful antidote. I like these food: banana flower, banana trunk. You just cut it into very tiny pieces according to your liking. Boil it lightly or steam it lightly, then uh, give sorting. That is it. And it gives. What we do is we add little grated coconut. You can add grated groundnut also to add a little proteinous taste to it. Otherwise, it is only fiber. It is only fiber. It has a taste, but to add taste, we add coconut, grated coconut. It is one way. Unfortunately, I don't get much of this trunk here. I go to the village once in a while and collect it and bring. These days, we have got all kind of hybrid banana varieties. The flower is a little more bitter than the native varieties. The native variety flowers are little astringent, not bitter. But nowadays the flowers are bitter because of many modifications. That is one sad part. But when you go to south, even today, they bring banana flower from the traditional varieties only. So it is quite edible, quite tasty. Another popular vegetable is the ash god, that bogla. In north, we make sweet. Peta is made of that one. Otherwise, for religious rituals and practices, they use that here. I have not seen that particular vegetable in our kitchen much in the north. In south, we have that vegetable as one of the regular vegetable items. Now, in Ayurveda and also Siddha traditionally believe, Ayurveda also believes, the extract of that vegetable is a very good drink. It is a nutritional drink, it is a health drink, is what Ayurveda prescribes, and it is popularly served in the markets these days, the extract. In South, it is one of the regular food items, and that vegetable is a peculiar vegetable. It is a creeper vegetable. You harvest it and keep it. It stays fresh for 1 year. So throughout the year, you get that vegetable. Other vegetables are seasonal, of course. Nowadays, because of nationalization, every vegetable is available every time, but there is season for this one. This is one vegetable, and yam is another vegetable you get throughout the year, because this their shelf life is very very long. So that is not just food item, it is a medicinal food item that we have eaten. There is a traditional belief that we need to have food optimally. What is optimum? This optimum is not only pertain to food, but every practice in life. It's a very basic, fundamental principle. We need food to survive. We need energy. So we need to eat. How much we should eat? We need to consciously study what is our requirement. Only eat that much. No more, no less. You eat less, you are tired. You don't get sufficient energy. You eat more, you get tired because excessive eating will not allow your digestion to take place normally. It takes a longer time to digest. By then, the food instead of getting digested become fermented, and the gastric other troubles come. So eat just sufficient. That is the consciousness. If we eat for taste, then we end up eating more than what we require. That is one traditional belief. Don't eat for taste, eat for requirement, and that will keep you eating optimally. This optimum is pertinent to every practice in life. We need to sleep to replenish our body. Sleeping allows us to regain energy. That does not mean we can keep on sleeping so that we will regain energy. That doesn't happen. We have to eat, we have to sleep sufficiently, no more, no less. We have to work to earn. How much we have to work? No more, no less. If you work more, you get more income. That does not mean you keep on working to earn more and more. Where will you live? When will you live? So we have to work no more, no less. We have to study no more, no less. We have certain limitation in learning. In a day, how much we can remember, how much we can memorize, how much we can understand. That's a limitation. We have to study what is our capacity and study only, learn only that much. We cannot be greedy in our learning practices. So, no more, no less is a fundamental guiding principle. We need to keep it in mind. In South, with regard to food, they keep it very much conscious.
So, as we know nowadays, with each passing day, new diseases are emerging. Do you think healthy eating can prevent such diseases? And if yes, then what are those food items which you think are really important for our health, especially in such kind of time period?
It's a very important question, very contextual question as we pass through Corona. This question arises in the minds of people very urgently. We need to address it. Traditionally, our orientation is to keep the body active by giving it a balanced diet. If we constantly keep all the possible minerals, rare elements, and vitamins in our food, our body gets all the supplements. And associated with it is a very active life. Today, we most of us have become occupationally very sedentary. We sit for 8 hours, 9 hours, and work. That way, our body becomes very docile, inactive. Body requires action. That is how we can activate the metabolism. The whole physiology will be active. If we have an active life with a kind of balanced diet, when I say balanced diet, traditionally, whatever vegetable, green leaf or root or stem available in the region which are eatable, we should eat. In all 6 tastes, we need to eat. That gives the balanced diet to us. If we have hard, an active life with balanced food, our stamina will be very high, our immunity will be very active, and that will face any challenge, bacterial or any other infection can be met with success. So we need to keep our body and mind strong by having good food practices. That is the best way to handle diseases. Medicine can help us, but medicine alone will not help because medicine activate our body, stimulate our body to fight against the diseases. Antibody has to come from our own body. You cannot implant antibodies. It has to be generated. Then only it will be more effective, as effective as we desire. For that, a healthy life has to be adopted, and a balanced diet, food of all kind that comes from this local region. This region has to be part of our food. That is the way we can handle problem.
So thank you so much for taking out your time and giving us the interview and sharing such a great amount of knowledge with us. I'm really glad that you gave me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
I also thank you for allowing me to share whatever I understood from my region with regard to food. And it is always a nostalgic experience to recollect our traditional food and the practices. I should thank you. I wish you all success in your future endeavor. I understand with your passion, you will be a great contributor to the food practices of the people and to their health as well. All the best.